Let's talk about standard error and the exit function. We already kind of discussed standard error when we were talking about standard in and standard out. Remember that standard error is the file handle that is not typically redirected. It usually opens to the screen, and that's where it stays. Now you can do a reopen on it and change where standard goes, but not typically done because standard error is for the operators so that we can get information to them if the program is failing. Exit passes back a value to the caller, typically to the operating system. If you used to do some bat file programming, you know that you can test the return value of a program and decide what to do. If 0 came back, that normally says that everything was fine. If you want to pass some other value back, then the caller of your program will get that information back from you, and then it can decide if you told it everything went okay or if there was an error. Let's take a look at a little piece of code. Remember we had lower.c, and all that it did was take in information from a file if there was a redirect done or from the screen, and it would lowercase that text and put it out. Pretty simple job. So what we have added is that we're going to say that the job has ended. And just to give a little note to the operator that we've processed the file, done what we're supposed to do, and now it's over. And then we will return 0. Return 0 out of main or return 1 or anything else is exactly the same as exit, except it's typically used at the end of the function. If we wanted to call exit someplace else, if something was going wrong, if we had an error of some sort, we can do an exit with a number and it will cause the same cleanup and the same exit out of main that a simple return does. So they're synonymous, exit and return in main. So now let's take a look at how this thing works, at how lower.c is going to work with this job ended. We come over here and we've already compiled it. We'll do it again, compile on link of lower.c, and if we run, let's type. There, everything that's uppercase becomes lowercase, and we know how this works. If we quit that, it says job ended. That's our while loop has ended, and that's the last thing that comes out. So if we run lower and we take input from that uppercase file that we created, it's still out there. That text of uppercase.txt is actually all in uppercase, and the lower program lowercased it. We see that, and there's our job ended again. That shows up out here on the end. Well, if we redirect the output to lowercase.txt and run the program, we didn't get any output. We didn't get a job ended like we're supposed to because it wound up in our lowercase.txt. If we type that out using the operating system program for this, there it is. Well, we don't want job statements winding up at the tail end of our output of our program. So what we can do is instead of saying printf to job ended, we'll do a file printf. Now that we know all about files, and we already have a file handle called standard error. The file pointer has already been created. The standard error is the file pointer, and it has been assigned to the standard error output. So there we go. We'll put that in, save the file. We'll come over here and compile it. There we go. Now, if we run it, we'll just run it normally. Says this is uppercase, and that's all lowercase, and that worked. We hit Control-C. The job is ended. That's still, everything looks right. But now we'll go back up and we'll do that redirect. So now we're going to do lower from uppercase.txt, reading that in, giving lowercase.txt as output, and there's our job ended statement because it came to standard error, just the way we wanted it to. And if we now look at the lowercase.txt file, it no longer has our job statement tacked into our actual data. Just exactly what we wanted to have happen. So you can see that standard error is in fact its own file handle because we could use file printf, fprintf, and give the file handle and then what we want to say, and it is going to a different place than our standard output went to.